Hello and welcome to the Addressing Chronic Defiance in the Classroom PD video. My name's Sarah Martin. I'm the teacher on special assignment in student services here in Palm Springs Unified School District. I'm starting off with a quote that defiance is behavior. Behavior is communication. Therefore, defiance is communication. We need to try to change the way that we view defiance from our students. First, we're going to talk about why. I'd like you to consider why classroom defiance is becoming more difficult to address, and what does defiance look like in the classroom? Defiance looks like refusal, arguing, power struggles, saying no and/or ignoring directions, blaming others, and escalation when corrected. Why is defiance becoming more difficult to address? A lot of educators say that changes in ed code, heightened student trauma and stress, and increased need for control and attention from our students are leading contributors to the rise in defiance. So we need to shift our mindset. Traditional discipline often escalates behavior, reinforces control battles, damages relationships, and reduces compliance long term. What's changed among our scholars is their attention span, societal priorities, expectations, parental support, and child autonomy. Something to consider is, have kids changed or has the environment changed? How would we have reacted in today's environment as children? Really, kids do well if they can. Students who show defiance often struggle with emotional regulation, flexibility, frustration tolerance, control and autonomy, feeling misunderstood, and their attention span. The brain and power struggles I'm going to give a simple overview. Control equals safety. Often defiant students are fighting for a sense of safety. They feel unsafe when they feel forced, embarrassed, misunderstood, or powerless. And in these situations, when the adult pushes, the student will push back harder. Here is a graphic of the power struggle. We start at the top with adult demands, when the teacher gives a direction to students. The student resists or refuses to meet the demand, and the adult escalates. The teacher tries to get the student to comply, which leads to the student escalating. The student refuses to meet the demand and escalates his or her behavior. This often leads to relationship damage. Both parties become dysregulated and damage to the relationship occurs. The most likely result of any power struggle is damage to the relationship and classroom culture, and it makes future power struggles more likely. Consider where in this cycle we can intervene as educators. Where in this cycle does the power struggle really start? And what does the teacher lose in a power struggle? Next, we'll talk about some classroom strategies and skills to avoid and diffuse defiance. Prevention is the most effective intervention that any teacher can ever employ. The first strategy to think about is connection before correction. Students are more likely to comply when they feel safe. You might want to connect with your students through threshold greetings, expressing that you are happy to see them, or doing 30-second check-ins with the frequent flyers. Offer controlled choices. This reduces control battles. Instead of giving demands, offer choices. Do you want to start with the odd or even problems as an example? Also, try using neutral language. Instead of saying stop arguing or you need to listen, try using phrases like let's reset, we can figure this out, I'll help you get started, or do you want me to help you get started? Reduce public corrections. Students often react poorly to shame, audience, and loss of status. Use quiet proximity, private redirection, and nonverbal signals. Also, teach flexibility and regulation. Students need explicit instruction and practice in waiting, accepting no, and coping with frustration. These are skills we often think they should have, and they just don't have it. So we need to teach them these skills. We also can react when power struggles occur or defiance occurs. So when a student refuses, stay calm, reduce the language that you use, validate their feelings, and offer a next step. An example is, I see this feels frustrating. I can help you start or check in with you in a few minutes. Which do you prefer? When escalation begins, slow your voice, lower the volume, give space, avoid arguing, and use short phrases. When a student says no, try saying, I'll give you a minute, let me know when you're ready, or okay, I will check back with you when I'm ready. Let's try to really stop that power struggle between steps 2 and 3. In closing, I'm going to talk about repair relationships and some restorative practices. Defiant students expect rejection. After the conflict, try to forgive them, check in with them, reconnect, limit any lecturing, shaming, or blaming. Focus on repairing the relationship and setting the student up for success in the future. Shame, blame, and ignoring will lead to additional incidents of defiance in the future, and our goal is to limit that. The students who challenge us the most are often the ones who need us the most. When we stay calm, connected, and consistent, we become the safe adult who helps them build the skills they don't yet have. Thank you for taking the time to watch this quick video. Please reach out if you have any questions or comments.